messy. Let's lock it in. Then we're going to darken in those lines and shapes. By the end of it, you're going to have a great drawing of a great character. Actually, he's a whole bunch of great characters. They all look alike to me. They're those little green guys with the little antenna on top of their head. They're friends of Buzz Lightyear's. They all go, ooh. All right, let's get started. Let's go ahead and start. The basic shape of their head is a potato. I'm going to start right here in the middle of my page, and I'm going to draw in a pretty good-sized potato. Now, if you're not really good at drawing ovals like this, try this. Draw a rainbow, a big outstretched rainbow, and then just add a big outstretched letter U to the bottom of it, like this. Look at how lightly he draws. Like I said, just butterfly kiss that paper at first, okay? And I've got several lines down there. I can't draw perfect circles, potatoes, or anything. So I make a bunch of them, and then I'm going to pick the lines that I like and ignore the ones that I don't. They'll just fade into the background. Now, moms and dads, help the kids. We're going to put a line straight through the middle of that potato from top to bottom. It's going up a little high because he has that antenna on top of his head, and it's going to go down a little bit below the potato because he has a nice collar around his neck. We're going to put another guideline right through the middle of the potato, going side to side this time. Again, moms and dads, help those kids out with this. Sometimes they can get really lost with getting these things where they need to be. Now we're going to give him an eye line, so named because that's where his 3 eyes are going to be sitting. Keeping it light and loose, I'm going to start right here, and I'm just going to go up and underneath the top of my original potato lump. And then from that point, back down to the other side, just like that. That's going to give us something to put his eyes on, eventually, but not quite yet. I think we're going to start out with his ears. Who's a Star Trek fan? Live long and prosper. Leonard Nimoy was the inspiration for these ears. Right here, off to the side of his head, draw 2 little letter U's right underneath that crossing guideline like that. Okay? Now, let's see, I want them to go up about that high over his head. So give me something to aim for there. That line, go up there, bring it back down. You can see it angles out a little bit as it goes up, and it does have the Vulcan point on top. There we go. I love when they do stuff like that. It's like somebody really loves Star Trek. Okay, those are good. I'm liking the way those look, so now I'm going to lock them in. All right, I'm just going to go over what I've done, build it up, darken it in. Just those ears. We'll add a little bit of inner ear detail just by drawing a big letter J right in the middle of it like that. There we go. Let's jump over here and do the same thing on this side. Here we are. Nice and locked in. Toy Story, what a movie. 1995 it came out, and it really changed animation forever. It was the first feature-length computer animated film from Pixar, and from anybody for that matter. But those guys at Pixar, they really had a great idea, and surprised a whole lot of people. There we go. Okay, looks like this pencil is losing its point. Grab another one. Okay. Okie-doke. A little messy over on that side, but that's okay. Let's go ahead now and get those eyes in place. All right? I always like to start with the middle one because then I know how much space I've got for the other 2. On that line that we drew, I'm going to put an outstretched letter U. It's looking pretty even, using that center guideline as my little anchor there. And then a dome on top of it, okay? There we go. Keeping it light and loose. Now I'm going to add one over here. Try to keep it about the same size. There's the base of it. And the dome on top. It's a little sketchy right now, a little messy. That's okay. Just kind of getting these things into place. Now that I've got them, I'm ready to go ahead and lock them in. So let's go ahead and do that, shall we? Go ahead and start on the dome. These characters are really cute. They were originally going to be from a miniature golf course, not Pizza Planet as they ended up being. And they were going to be little plastic pieces of pizza with little faces on them. You know, a lot of things change when you're making an animated film, and I'm glad they changed that idea because I think these guys are definitely one of the highlights of the film. Some of their moments are just great, and they were back for all the sequels, all the shorts that they made based on Toy Story. You always see these guys. A few of them got adopted by Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head. I hope they're all doing well. There we go. And they saved the day in Toy Story 3. Hey, if you haven't seen Toy Story 3 by now, what are you doing? Goodness sakes. Classic. Okay, now let's do this one over here, and then we'll add those pupils to them. I love to talk about the voices of characters. This movie had such great people doing voices, of course. Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, Don Rickles, Wally Shawn as Rex the dinosaur. These little guys were all voiced by one person. He was actually a story man there at Pixar, and his name was Jeff Pigeon. And I imagine that Jeff was probably going over a storyboard one day for the other people working on the film, and he probably went, and then all these little green guys are going to go, ooh, and everybody in the room went, Jeff, you would be perfect for this part. So he got double A. And he's probably still getting it too, years later. Okay, right there in the lower part of each eye, drawing a nice little circle there. Dead center, and lock those in, darken those in. You want to make the eyes, the three eyes in this case, the darkest part of the drawing, so that they really stand out. Since we're in the neighborhood, let's go ahead and finish those little spaces in between them, with gaps there. And that little antenna on top of his head, if you watch the animated series Buzz Lightyear of Star Command, this is how these guys would communicate to each other. Little bump there on the top that comes down like this, kind of widening out as it goes down behind his eye. All right, I'm going to go ahead and lock in the bottom of his face, and then we'll draw in his smile, his mouth. And we're going to give him the look that like he's going, ooh. Okay, it's a really fun look for this character. Nice and locked in. And now that we've got it, let's go ahead and start right here. Dead center, I'm going to draw in a little frown. Oh, so cute little green man. Watch this. Over here, I'm going to add to that. I'm just going to put a little smile. On both sides. That changes his whole demeanor. There we go. Now, this is just the beginning. It's going to get better. It's going to get even better. It's going to lock this in. Since his smile is really big, the same thing happens to little green men that happens to you and me. You get smile lines. These are little rainbows here at the corners. Right? Pushing up his smile. In fact, we're going to see his lip pushing too. Right there, put a little hill just above his smile there. Now, I want an open mouth smile so we can hear it. Right? We're going to grab on here and then just add this little outstretched letter U curve. I'm going to have it kind of flare out on either side so that it flows right into the line above it. And I'll shade this in, maybe not quite as dark as the eyes, but to give it depth. And his upper lip's being pushed up, so his lower lip should be pushed down. There we go. All right. Now, they have that little purple collar. Put 2 parentheses right underneath his ears. And then we're going to join them together, oh so gracefully, by following the curve up above here. Just do that a little bit lower. In art class, we call this following the studied line. Looking at this one, and doing it again just a little lower in this case. There we go. And having done that, my gosh, we're pretty much done with our little green man. every time I draw this guy, I want to run home and watch Toy Story again. They have been chosen, my friends. Okay, this is purple, so I'm just going to give it a very light shade. And having done that, there's just one thing left to add, and that is my signature. My mom says she will not put this on the refrigerator door unless I sign it. Okay. I keep Mom's hand. All right. There he is. How did you all do? I love it. Tigger is in the house. Did you hear that? Woohoo! Or should it have been woohoo? It's a little more Tigger-like. But we're not here to talk about Tigger. We're here to talk about you and your artwork. So I want to see it. I'm going to count to 3. And on 3, how about everybody going? Ooh, are you ready? And then hold up your drawings and let's see how you did. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, I love it. You guys, what? You did that? There's 3 little green men, and each one has 3 eyes. That's a lot of eyes. That's something like 9 eyes. I'm not a mathematician, I'm an artist. I know, simple math like that, and I'm vexed. You guys did fantastic. I'm looking at these, and they're all looking back at me. You guys did a great job, so give yourselves a great big round of applause. Oh my goodness. I'm going to put this little guy aside and skedaddle on out of here. I hope you had as much fun drawing him as I did, and that you'll join us again for another class soon. Until you do, class is dismissed.
Big round of applause for your amazing artist, Thomas. Thank you so much for joining us in the Animation Academy. Those drawings are souvenirs for you to take home with you.